I don't think there's any question in anybody's mind what's wrong with that picture. We live in two different worlds right now. There's some of us who are doing quite well and we aren't really worried about putting food on our table, and there are some of us who are in desperate need right now. But we live in two different worlds, and I think that picture depicts it, and I think it's something we need to talk about. Some of you aren't going to like what I have to say here because maybe you're part of that picture. 16 million people are without work, and I think that's a low estimate. Tomorrow we'll get the next week's, and I think we'll see another 6 million people unemployed. Has this happened before? Yeah. And I think what really scares me more than anything about this is bringing what the stock market is doing and what the world is living through, is bringing to attention those that have and those that don't. Those who don't right now are on the ropes. Those who have are trying to figure out how to profit off of this. Look at this chart. This is a history of unemployment claims. The largest number in past, I think, was somewhere around 1987 when there were 2,000 claims. We just hit 10 million. And yet, the stock market's up. There's something wrong here. Something desperately wrong, and we need to address it. I think this graph here, this pie chart, gives some light into why that picture is the way it is. 17% of the workers in the global population are involved in companies in the S&P 500. The other 83% of the population is involved in companies of small and medium size. They are the people who are suffering right now. They are the people who can't find food, who don't know when their next job will be. My wife and I went to the grocery store this morning. We went at 7 o'clock in the morning to avoid any kind of crowds. And I thought about, as I was driving, what if there isn't an end to this? What happens? How does our society function if they don't find a vaccine? Now I know they will, but what if they didn't? What if something like this happened again and again and again? What happens to the world that we live in when there is such a divide of those who have and don't have? When 83% of the population doesn't have a clue as to what they will be doing 3 months from now. I looked at this chart and I thought, is this an electrocardiogram? Is this measuring the pulse of our country today? We had a disaster and it went down and the heart came right back up. But is that representative? Is that chart representative of the world we live in? Is it representative of the way we're going to go forward? This is a recent chart that was produced to measure the relativity of the economy that we live in and the economy reflected by the stock market. And it's looking at various countries. And as you can see, the United States, there is a 25% differential as to what the actual situation is, the economy that we live in, as opposed to the economy that is reflected in our stock market. A 25% disconnect. This worries me. Am I saying that I would feel better if the stock market was crashing, was down substantially further? I think I would. I think I would feel that it was reflecting the situation that we found ourselves in and the pulse of those that have, in recognition of how bad things are. But instead, what I think I'm seeing is, I don't give a damn. It'll all come back. It'll take care of itself. It doesn't affect me. Now, on the other hand, I see people stepping up and saying they're going to take care of their employees even if the banks can't get the money. I saw Kramer this morning almost cry because he doesn't know how he and his wife are going to be able to take care of their 25 employees because, as he said, his bank, Chase Bank, that he's worked with for the last 35 years has told him that no, they won't advance him the money that the government has told him would be available. Where's the disconnect here? Where's all the promises that we've been made that aren't coming to fruition? Now, I understand. I live in Alabama. I saw what happened in Katrina and all the promises that were made and all the crying people that fled because it didn't happen. I saw the white trailers on the side of the highway that were made for the people in New Orleans from Katrina that never got to them. I have no idea where those trailers ended up. They didn't end up in New Orleans. Our government is not capable of initiating the programs that they have put forward, and I think that's being evidence. But the stock market doesn't seem to give a damn. When I first saw this on TV, I was shocked. Again, I live in a world where we have plenty of food. We go to the grocery store and we buy it when we need it. This shocked me, and I wondered, has anything like that ever happened again? And I did a little searching. Yeah, it did. It happened, and it happened worse. And I say worse, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to be like in a month or 2 months. I don't know that the people who don't have food will come down my street and come into my house and take my food. I don't know. But it troubles me that we don't seem to be able to take care of this. We don't seem to be able to react on a timely basis. Maybe I'm expecting too much, but I know the picture that I see, there's something wrong with it. Is this what the stock market's saying? Let them eat cake? I don't think our government is. I think our government genuinely wants to help people, but we don't have the capability because we never planned for anything like this. And we repeatedly do the same thing. Katrina, the fires in California, the floods in Houston. We continue to not be prepared for the disasters that come upon us. And then again, it doesn't seem that the stock market, the investors, the people who move our economy have any compassion. I don't know. Maybe I'm out in left field here. Maybe I'm an old man just reflecting back and saying, this isn't right. Let's don't do this again. And of utmost importance, let's be honest. Let's not put out false hope. Let's not make promises we can't keep. Because if you make a promise that you're going to send me a check and you don't send it, or if you make me a promise that I can get unemployment and I can't, you now create the grounds for revolt. You now made promises you can't keep. So rather than say something that you can't make happen, don't say anything at all. Or let the people who have the knowledge, have the experience, have the past insight, let them talk on your behalf. Don't take us down a road that we think everything's going to be all right and then leave us stranded on our own, fighting to stay alive. Don't do that to us. And don't mock us with a stock market that is not reflecting whatsoever the circumstances that we find ourselves in and the dire straits that we might be in if we can't bring this to an end. We talk about flattening the curve. but there'll still be a curve. I have not heard anybody that says we'll have a vaccine within 18 months. There'll still be a curve. There'll still be people giving and getting the virus. And there'll still be people dying. So let's take this serious. That is not to say that I'm an investor and I'm looking for opportunities to grow my investments, and I won't take advantage of the situation that we are in. But at the same token, let's be realistic, let's be honest, and let's don't add to the gap, the enormous gap of those who have and those who don't.